Exclusive interview with J.D. Vance's wife, Usha, about their diverse origins and how family values brought them together. The nation watched on cameras. With tears in her eyes, she stood up and astonished everyone. Always calm and strong, J.D. Vance's wife did something unexpected. But why? What brought her here? This narrative is only beginning, so stay tuned. The next event changed everything. It wasn't a political scandal, email leak, or background. It happened live on TV for millions. The woman who had been slandered for months snapped. The tranquility she had tried so hard to maintain vanished instantly. Whole room cooled. All of the nation watched in shock. Everything collapsed, right? What made her go too far? Whatever it was she saw that compelled her speak up. You should keep watching. This is just the start. The room was silent. The kind of stillness that makes every breath heavy and extends the distance between normal and history-changing. On stage, J.D. Vance grasped the table in front of him, digging his fingers into the wood. His constant glow came from the brilliant lights above him, yet something was shattering behind that smooth surface. It started like any other night plan. Regular and regulated now. It was nothing like that. One old woman in the crowd slowly stood up. She was feeble but determined amid the brilliant light. The microphone in her palm shook and her jacket medals gleamed. She was neither politician nor reporter. However, no one in the room could breathe as she talked. She spoke softly yet cut through the air like a razor. The inquiry didn't shatter the event. Its weight. About something else. American future wasn't at stake. The issue was bigger than a campaign speech or news release. J.D. Vance blinked and stiffened when the words hit. Answering tough questions, protests, media storms, and political confrontations were his norm. However, this was different. He tightened his jaw and parted his lips as if to speak. But he never did. While swallowing hard, his throat moved as his chest rose and fell with each breath. In all his political career, J.D. Vance never looked more bewildered than that day. The close-up cameras captured every detail. His shoulders tensed, fists curled, and feeble breaths. The audience remained. The reporters who usually take notes or whisper sat there. Press area notepads with pencils on top. Newscasters leaned forward and grasped their earpieces to comprehend. Until Usha Vance got up, the noise and background difference were barely noticeable. The move was little but had a major impact immediately. Numerous people heard the whispers. Some looked around. The room's vibe altered. All eyes were on her. She was pale and taking long, regular breaths that raised and lowered her chest. Her eyes were most noticeable. The months of focus. Conversations behind closed doors before she could speak. The headlines broke her. The social media attacks made her a problem before she could declare what she stood for. Everything was written. She didn't wipe her wet eyes in her long-hidden honesty. She didn't straighten. She stood motionless. She gazed at her spouse. He supported her through every storm strike to remove her from the story. She took another step after that. The sound of her sneakers hitting the floor was too loud. It seemed like the moment dragged. The woman grabbed the mic. The air tightened. All eyes were on them. People debated her worth for months, following her every action and ripping her apart. They had to listen, so they sat quietly. She handled the microphone with one hand for the first time, and her fingers were white, yet her voice didn't shake. That voice was raw, heavy, and more than rage or fatigue. The truth was told. Truth about her. The real expense of her attendance. The reality of living in an unaccepting world. She wasn't fighting back. No argument from her. This was her chance to clarify. Every unfavorable report, mean statement, and try to erase her exhausted her. She tried to ignore the hubbub and persuade herself she was more than they saw her. Despite their might, nothing could prepare people for being erased and judged. Time and time, people called her a problem, burden, and distraction. It wasn't her actions. Who she was didn't matter. Nothing to do with that. This was never her place. Her identity was known. No matter how quiet she was, she'd been ignoring the attacks for months. She stood straight, smiled, and held her head up. She had no choice, though she stared at the audience without rage or tears. Months had passed as that room debated and decided who she was. They never listened. They have to hear the truth. Now she stated what no one expected. The room shifted when she did. The nation changed. Nothing would be the same. Millions refreshed their devices to find out. The truth wouldn't be revealed yet. More destruction was coming. Usha Vance's resignation went beyond politics. The occasion was crucial. She left her position as second lady to avoid the burden of being attached to one of the most divisive administrations. Her absence made the nation question the second lady's function. She should be a mute symbol or have agency. Washington was shaken by her departure. It empowered some by showing women in politics don't have to passively accept assaults. Others saw it as a failure and weakness. Pressure increased for J.D. Vance. His fealty to Trump was questioned, and his political future was uncertain. Usha's departure revealed more. Trump loyalty is costly. What did it indicate about the administration's strength if even presidential confidants couldn't handle the pressure? Her departure went beyond resignation. She refused to be defined by the system. The political landscape would be changed by the fallout.